Greetings. Good to see everybody. I want to talk to you now about some stories about my 50 years of martial arts experience. The story was inspired by Banky Pound. He's got a YouTube channel called 33 Years in Prison. I didn't go to prison for 33 years, but I've been practicing martial arts for 51 years now. So I'm going to give you some stories from highlights of my time in the martial arts. So this story I'm going to talk to you now is about when I was in the Marine Corps from 1973 to 1977. In 1974 to 75, I was in Okinawa, Japan. Of course, I was into karate very deeply, which was one of my motivations for volunteering to go to Okinawa. So one of my first matches in Okinawa was I went to a karate school that was right down the street from my base. I was in Fatima, for those of you that know Okinawa, or aka the Rock. I was in Fatima, Camp Fatima, the airway, for 13 months. So right down the hill there's a dojo, Shorin Karate. So I walked in and just told them I just got to the island and was looking for a school, and there was a Okinawa instructor with a Marine, a young white Marine was there, and I walked in, and right away as we talked about me getting in, I let them know I've been training for about a year and a half at that time. Well, actually about 2 years at that time. Actually almost 3 years at that time. So what I did is I let them know my pedigree, and they were kind of sizing me up, which I was a small guy. I was about 135 pounds, about 5'7" at that particular time. And my prospective opponent was 6'4", 150. So he was like a string bean, very long, very wiry, and had that kind of Tommy Hearns skinny man type strength. So we're sizing each other up. The instructor gets us ready to spar. We're going to spar with mouthpiece, cup, and 10-ounce boxing gloves, and everything's open. And we started, got in there to spar. Now, in fairness to my opponent at that particular time, he was a little sick. He was blowing his nose and coughing, but I could tell he also felt like he had kind of like an easy hit with being my size and walking in. I don't think he realized I knew what I was walking into. Anyway, what happened is, as we square off, we're moving around. Of course, I told you he's got that 6'4" height, so I'm very leery of rushing in because he had all that reach on me. But I knew the first thing he was going to do was throw that roundhouse. So he threw a hard roundhouse at me, and I stepped into it, spun, and caught him with a spinning back fist with the left, spun around again, caught him with a spinning back fist to the right, and reset. And that was how things started off. And so he threw another roundhouse. I dipped on it and threw a front kick, which missed. And we were going, around, moving around. It was very intense sparring. I mean, he was trying to represent for his teacher, and that first strike kind of threw him off his pivot. And so we're rolling around. I caught him with a jump in side kick up underneath, caught him in the ribs. He caught me with a roundhouse kick to the side of the head, kind of a dip, but he caught right on the top of the head. Probably hurt his foot more than hurt me. And then we kept rolling. At one point, I actually jumped up in the air and hooked him with a left hook right in the head. Because I was 5'7", 140, but I was I had a good vertical. So I caught him with that. Another point, I caught him with I threw a double front kick, and then he blocked that, and I caught him with a straight punch to the face. Needless to say, it was agreed upon that I got the best of him that particular day. And that impressed the instructor, impressed him, and he was, in fairness to him, he was sick that day. And so that was the first match. That was my first match in Okinawa with a guy named Ralph Janus, J Ralph, if you're out there, get in touch with me. You were a great person to work with, and I really, really appreciate the time we spent together. And that, my friends, is story number 1 on my battles in Okinawa. The next story will be the rematch with Ralph.